our regular three guys. We had on the A squad. We have a very special guest. I had the pleasure of meeting him. I went up and introduced myself to calling a Michigan when the Gophers played Michigan last year in the 24 season. Before the game, I went up and introduced myself. I listened. You can hear him on MGO Blue podcast. We bring on Michigan's play-by-play announcer, getting ready to call the Final Four. So we appreciate him taking the time to visit with us. Brian Boesch. Brian, it is a pleasure to have you on. Very excited. This year has been quite the ride. Up to this point, what has been, a good memory that has really stuck out with you so far?
Well, first off, Dylan Grant, really appreciate you guys having me on, and Dylan, it was good to meet you at the barn. I appreciated the halftime analysis too. We needed that. That was a tough day for Michigan, but man, it's tough to narrow it down. I think with this team, maybe more than any other in my career, I've really tried to enjoy the ride as best as possible. When Michigan went to Vegas and won by a combined 110 points, I kept hearing people say, and I understand it, I've been this way before, boy, I just can't wait till March. Can't wait to see if they can get to the Final Four, all of that. I've really tried to stay present in this as much as possible. So, the memories are kind of what's happening here and now. I will say the celebration at Illinois, considering all of the games where Michigan's had a little extra juice, right? Just recently, Namari Burnett facing his former team, and there was no ill will there, but there's a little extra oomph when you're facing your former coach, a couple of your former teammates, all of that type of thing. Daimara played UCLA, of course. Riley Gale Jr. played Ohio State a couple of times, but it was most fierce in Champaign, Michigan at Illinois, whereas Johnson Jr. going back to his home state to a team that he committed to as a sophomore, and Michigan just bounced them. I mean, it wasn't even close. Michigan dominated that game, clinched the outright Big Ten championship. I think that game, I'd never called a win for Michigan over Illinois. They hadn't won against the Illini, home or road, since John Beilein was the coach. So to experience that, to be there for it, and then to see the celebration, what it meant to the team, that they won the league, and that they did that for Rez, that for now is probably the number one. But obviously, we have a few potential candidates this weekend, hopefully, that will top that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to have to fill me in on what on my halftime analysis of this the Michigan Minnesota game, because we'll just leave it as that was a long time ago. But
you're having a good time.
I was. You only turned 30 once.
Dylan, real quick on that day, anytime you go to Cowboy Jack's at lunch at 12 p.m., it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, that's right. But right now, since you brought up the barn, I do remember talking about that. It was a weird angle for you to call a game. Now, where are some other tough angles that you've had to call games from for this year? And we'll be like that at the Final Four.
Yeah, so we'll be courtside at the Final Four, which I've never been to the Final Four in any capacity. So to get the chance to be there for the first time courtside will be surreal. The thing I've learned about this industry is that once you get to tip-off, everything feels pretty normal. But obviously the lead up, the excitement, the anticipation, the spotlight changes based on whether it's an exhibition at home against Cincinnati or an Elite Eight against Tennessee, Final Four against Arizona, whatever it might be. So we're very fortunate in that in the NCAA tournament, in the conference tournament, they do take care of us with proximity, being very, very close. Minnesota's probably the toughest one. We are right around in St. Paul when we call that game, so I appreciate you making the hike to get up there to see us. But Michigan State's got a bit of a tough angle. But frankly, hey, I'm in a sporting venue calling a game, so I certainly don't complain about it too much. I always wish we were courtside, but the fact that I'm calling some of these games, they could put me in the last row of seats in the corner, and I'd be totally fine.
Well, it worked out. That's where seats were. It was just I just happened to look over to my right, and I was like, I bet that's Brian. So I, go over and talk. Went over and talked, and then what is this group like to be around when they're not playing? You spend a lot of time with them. What are they like to be around?
It's easy, Dylan, to say that everything's great, and I think that's probably the answer you would get from players most seasons. It was not great 2 years ago when they went 8-24, but the culture that Dusty and this coaching staff and these players have all contributed to building is incredible. They truly enjoy being around one another. It's awesome to see. I think the best example of it recently has been the way that this team has made sure to embrace, to lean into LJ Kaysen after his season-ending ACL injury. But truly, I mean, they're spending extra time together in the meeting rooms. They're playing board games or cards. Just having conversation here and there. It really is a tight knit group. And the interesting dynamic to all of this is the fact that no matter what happens here this weekend, this is the last trip for this team. Whether it's one game or two, whether they win the national championship or they finish as a regional champion but lose in the Final Four, this is the last hurrah. And Dusty said something to me in the aftermath of the win over Tennessee in the Elite Eight. We just want to keep coaching these guys. The day after our final day coaching these guys will be a sad day, and that's because of this group. Truly, I enjoy being around them. They're super welcoming to me, which I appreciate. But the way that they act together, spend time together, enjoy being around each other is really special.
When did you kind of realize, at what point in the season did you realize, oh, this is a national championship caliber team? Was it going back to that time in Vegas where they won by a combined 100 points, or was there a time before or after that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Vegas was the official time where you knew that this had a chance to be a really special season. Going to some practices, some of their 1 hour workouts over the summer into the early fall, some of their full practices in the month of October. I got the sense, this has a chance to be a really talented team. I think the coaching staff came to believe that they were going to go start the big three of Yax, Morez, and Adai pretty early in the process, when a lot earlier than I'm guessing a lot of people thought that would be the decision. And there were a couple of instances. I think Will Cheddar started a game. I think maybe Roddy started a game, whatever it might be. But they got to that solution, that decision pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, the Las Vegas 3-game drubbing of Auburn, San Diego State, and Gonzaga. I mean, that was as emphatic of an announcement that this team is good and really good and probably elite that you can have. And from there, they were kind of left to try to live up to those expectations, which is really tough. And they've been able to do that more times than not. And here they are in the Final Four.
Hey, Brian, going back to the first time you met Dusty May, did you know this was going to be a slam dunk hire, or did you get that vibe from him? Because when I saw Michigan hire Dusty, I was like, oh, they got this right. I'm just wondering if him as a person confirmed that right away when you first meet him those first couple of times.
Yeah, Grant, it's a great question, and obviously it's easy when I'm around the university, the athletic department, to say, oh yeah, I thought Dusty made a lot of sense, but it was tough not to be excited about the hire when you got to know him and talk to him. Just his ability to be, what's the word, present in a conversation, to be with so much going on. I met him for the first time at the introductory press conference, and we recorded a podcast together. And I mean, he just handled all of those interactions really well. And you go back to that, and he said in that, he was very emphatic. We need to win. We want to win. We have to show that there is a proof of concept here from the get-go. And what Michigan did in the summer of 24 to get the roster that went to the Sweet 16 last season, that helped build the foundation to here, where Morez and Adai and Yax all trusted Dusty to say, hey, it might be a little weird that we're bringing in all these bigs, but it's going to work. And everybody's going to eat. Everyone's going to have success. And even if those guys could score more points and collect more rebounds and play more minutes in other situations, they've all enhanced their stock in the NBA conversation. They've all won a lot more than obviously they would at pretty much any place in the country. He's been the real deal since day one. And obviously it's easier to say that now, 2 years later, but it was tough not to think, yeah, this feels right when he was introduced.
Yeah, And I guess let's get cut to the Final Four now here. Arizona is next up on the docket. In your research, what are some of the challenges that Arizona presents to this Michigan club?
Yeah, Dylan, I think Arizona and Michigan are the top two teams in the country. I don't love the terminology that it's the de facto national championship because whoever wins is going to have to beat a really good team on Monday night. Whoever wins Michigan and Arizona will be the favorite on Monday night, no question. But we all know weird things can happen, and that favorite will be pretty small, all things considered. This isn't not going to be a 2 versus 15 game when you get to Monday night. Arizona excels at a lot of things that Michigan excels in. They have great size. They have skilled front court players. They are second nationally in 2-point field goal defense. Michigan wants to score near the basket. Arizona makes it as difficult as any team in the country to do that. They have really talented guards. They are incredibly athletic. Offense and defense is good. They have a group that is willing to sacrifice. Nobody averages more than 16 points per game. And Tommy Lloyd is an excellent coach. This is, I think, as close to a both schematic and talent comparison to Michigan as there is. It is the coin flip of all coin flips. I've loved watching Arizona from afar. I think maybe the best college basketball game that I've seen, at least a good chunk of this season, was their game against Iowa State in the the Big 12 tournament. I think it was the semifinals. I mean, this is a high-level team, and I think it's going to come down to the front court. What can Michigan do on the interior against an elite defensive team? And can they hold up with defense and with avoiding foul trouble against an elite interior offense?
Now, Brian,
Yeah, that was my thoughts initially too. Was just staying out of foul trouble. Keeping Rez and Adai both on the floor, and then when Will Cheddar comes in, Roddy Gale, they come in, they provide that spark. I thought Will's played really well from the Big Ten tournament to the NCAA tournament. I thought Namari, who has struggled at times, playoff or March Rod, Marty as they call him. You look back to something in that Iowa game, it clicked for him where he's played really well since then. But the front court, I think the other advantage Michigan has is they're going to have the best in the court in Yaks. Grant, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'll let you ask your question.
I was just curious, Brian, is there any conversations around the Michigan team right now about playing in a basketball arena and or a football field, and how that depth perception can change your 3-point shooting and maybe foul shots? Is there any worry about that, or it's the Final Four? Too bad we got to play.
Yeah, it's a first world problem. I mean, it'll be discussed, and they get a couple of practices in there, one closed, one opened. So, yeah, I think there are going to be some dynamics there that are interesting, that are unique. I do think because Michigan has shot so well from three, and it's become an important reason why they've been able to win these games so emphatically, that Arizona doesn't shoot nearly as many threes as Michigan, so that is a factor. But it's tough to really know exactly what it'll look like until we get to Saturday. But they'll have two chances to get in there, which is good.
Yeah. I think too I'm curious. The other part is at halftime, because you've seen Michigan and I guess even Arizona for that matter in this tournament where both teams have been really good at halftime adjustments. I mean, you look back pretty much every game except the Tennessee, which I was extremely happy and excited to see because I was able to listen to the Final Four media timeout on the radio. It's a beautiful day here in North Dakota. I'm going to go take a walk and listen to our good friend Brian finish out the game. But that was like my favorite to this point of the NCAA tournament so far. My favorite moment was just the way Michigan in the first 3 games, they kind of let teams hang around halftime, where against Tennessee, they had the opportunity to step on their neck and they did. And then they stepped on it again and again and again. So I think the halftime adjustments are another thing that I think, because both teams are really good at those half adjustments, and it's going to come down to which coach makes the right one.
Yeah, no doubt. Both these teams are elite. I'd be surprised if one team or another really pulled away.
Yeah, and I know this is a short, so how this works, Brian, is you're a recurring guest now, so anytime we ask you to come back on, you have to again. I know you got to run, but hopefully down the line, hopefully sometime this summer, we'll be able to reconnect and hopefully celebrate a Michigan national title. So I appreciate you joining us, Brian.
Happy to do it, Dylan and Grant. All the best, guys. Go blue.
Yep. Go blue.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, that was awesome. Only 15 minutes, but appreciate all the time he did give us. Grant, what were some of your takeaways from the interview?
If you ask me how confident this Michigan team is and how cohesive they are, it truly feels like a family from what they said. And the Dusty Mayes is as good of a person as we all think he was. And that Final Four run at Florida Atlantic now was no fluke. Because look at that Florida Atlantic team, Dylan. The similarities between this Michigan team was the size. Dusty has a brand of basketball he wants to play, and he's found success with that. And it's a little old school, and I'm here for it. Because basketball is meant to be played with guys on the front court who are 6'9" and taller. I don't want this.
Yeah.
I don't want this Houston Rockets analytics. We're gonna have everyone on the court 6'6" and shorter. We're shooting threes. I want big, tall people dominating the paint and scoring 2-point baskets at a high percentage, which Michigan has been doing.
Yeah, they have, and their just ability to lean on teams. I mean, I look back to the game that sticks out for me would be the Nebraska game where Michigan is trailing the entire game, and it felt like they just could not ever take control of the game until about 6 minutes to go, where Nebraska just got tired. I mean, it was a violent physical game, and Nebraska just got worn down, and they just they were out of gas. They were walking the ball up the court, and by the end of it, they had nothing left in the tank. And Michigan was able to, I can't remember what the final score was, but they were able to kind of just pull away and get a win. But I mean, you look at some of these other ones, like, I mean, I talked about some of my frustrations where, like, at halftime, it feels like they've got the momentum and they let them back in. But then it doesn't matter. I mean, you look at the Howard game, it took about 26 minutes. You look at the Swiss game about the same time. The Alabama game, it took about, after the under 16 is where I was like, okay, they responded. They're good to go. Alabama really, unless they start just making everything, they don't have a prayer. And then the Tennessee game is pretty self-explanatory on that one of just taking care of business. Is it frustrating that they don't take advantage, just step on their necks every time, or when they have the moment? Yes, but I also have to remember that the team they're playing are all Division I basketball players. They practice too, so there's going to be some fight in it. And it's the same thing as it's going to be. I think this game could potentially play out a lot like that Duke game did when Michigan played, where it'll be a back and forth game. And it feels like who's ever going to have that last run at that, under 8 timeout is going to be able to put themselves in the driver's seat where they're able to control the game.
To your point, Dylan, an 8-2 run, the starting at the 6:15 mark. 6:15 to like 3:45.
Yep.
That 2.5 minutes where, boom, all of a sudden we got a 6-point lead. And holy shit, Michigan is up 66-58. Also, Dylan, one comparison here I just thought of compared to the last time the Michigan team was in the Final Four was, we'll go back to the football team, and there was the 2023 regular season. You look at their semifinal matchup that year when they played Alabama. This was the two best teams in the country. Well, on Saturday night, this is the two best teams in the country. And as long as no one is leaving severely injured, I think the winner of this game Saturday going to the championship game on Monday, like Brian said, is the odds-on favorite to win the championship game.
Yeah, and that's going to be the hard part for the winning team is to remind themselves, because you're hearing all those things of it's the national championship game, but it's and I go back to when we were in college and in 2015, that was our senior year, where it was NDSU versus Northern Iowa in the quarterfinals. And Mark Farley is talking about how this is the national championship game. And Chris Kleiman, one of the reporters, tells Kleiman that in the post-game presser, and he just looks into the camera about, or they talk about it's a national championship game, and Chris just looks at him. It was a quarterfinal game. Mm-hmm. It's a semifinal game, and beating Arizona is no small task, and you should be excited about it. But you have to remember, you're close, but no cigar yet. You still got to go out and win Monday against, which I guess we can just transition into here in the Duke-Illinois game, because, I mean, it was blowout at halftime. There's no way Duke would have blown that lead. Duke-Illinois, and frankly, I think if you're Michigan, actually you do have to back up a little bit here. Predictions, Grant. Who wins, Michigan and Arizona?
I've gone back and forth with the whole tournament, Dylan. But I just the consistency that Arizona has shown through the Big 12 tournament, and how they are also like Michigan, just pressing on people and slowly taking the life out of their opponents. I think that's going to be an advantage for the Wildcats in this game. So I'm going to go Arizona. And also, before the Final Four, I had Arizona versus Florida in my title game, and I had Arizona beating Michigan. I'm not going to back down from that, so I'm going to keep that. So give me the Wildcats in this game. How about 74-69?
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, Grant, I've been high on Michigan. I've picked them. I've been saying they're going to win a national title all year. They're on the cusp, and I think these teams are very similar. I think Michigan has a little bit more. They're a little bit older than Arizona. Maybe that youth shows up. I also think in games where it is so tightly contested, you got to go with the team with the best player on the court, and Michigan has the best player on the court, Axel Lindenberg. Also, I talked about it in last week's episode. I want to see him take over and prove that he is the player in college basketball. And mission accomplished after last week, watching him take over the Alabama game, take over the Tennessee game. And now he's got the opportunity to do it against Arizona. I think this is I think Michigan finds a way. I think you get a big game from Morez Johnson, who has not had a great NCAA tournament outside of the Howard game. Really didn't play well in the Big Ten tournament. But I think this is where Rez turns it on. And I like Michigan to win. Similarly to you, I got it a little bit more lower scoring. I got Michigan winning 67-63.
Okay.
So let's shift over to the Duke-Illinois game. Now, Grant, do you think Illinois has any shot against Duke?
Well, they do, because Duke lost. They blew that lead, Dylan.
Oh, that's what they blew a huge lead against Houston last year. There's no way they do it twice.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, and the trick that you can't teach Duke is to not piss away a game when their season is on the line.
Or when they're. But are you sure Because UConn was 1 of 18 from 3 at one point in this game. You're telling me UConn came back on?
Well, yes, because Dylan, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have watched this live. I would have continued to watch Michigan play UMD in hockey. Because, like you said, Duke was up by 18 points? I just gave up. I was like, this UConn team looks lost. I don't want to watch it anymore.
I have a story about this game. So you've seen the setup that I have in my house.
Mhm.
I have the 3 TVs, and so I have the one on. I was like, well, you know what, this game, I'll keep it on and see how it goes. I'm playing Xbox. I'm the head coach at Texas, and playing Ohio State in the quarterfinals we were in the Sugar Bowl, and so game was getting there. The game I was playing is getting down. I was down 2 possessions to Ohio State with about 4.5 minutes to go. And I was down 45-35 and find a way to score. We score with about 2.5-ish minutes left. We get the ball back with 1:37. And we go down. We end up having to get settling for a field goal, which almost took a sack where the clock would have ran out, or we would have had to just try and throw up a prayer type situation. And kick the field goal, go to overtime. And Ohio State gets the ball first. They score, kick the PAT. Or no, we score. Then they score. Then they get the ball to start the second overtime. They score, miss the 2-point conversion, and then we get the ball. We go down. We score. We get the 2-point conversion, and we won. So, and all while that was happening, that happened, and then at the UConn Duke game, it was 72-70, and they made the 2 free throws. And then right after I shut my Xbox off, I watched the end of it, and I see Boozer throw it up, and I'm like, oh, it's there. And then Braylon Mullins pulls that 3, and I jump out like, holy shit, oh my God. And then I had to leave to go to Golf League. But there was a lot of things happening in a span of 2 minutes there.
Oh, yes. And as you're watching this game slowly get creep down, you're like, oh, Duke's going to get uncomfortable. There's going to be those voices in the back of their heads. Remember what happened last year? What happened last year? We're a bunch of freshmen. We haven't been in a situation like this before at the end of the year. At the end of the year and at the end of a game. And then it's is going to go bad for Duke. And then they get that rebound, and I'm just the inbound pass, and I'm like, okay, so if UConn doesn't get a steal, they're going to have to foul. Duke doesn't have to do anything. Oh no, we're a freshman. We made this huge mistake. I'm going to try to throw it up to my open guy. And then UConn gets the ball, and you could tell which team was mature and was ready for that situation, and which team just wanted to panic and not foul and lose the game at the foul line on defense. And that was Duke, and that's what I sounded like, because I couldn't put a sentence together, Dylan. And when I texted you that heebie-jeebie nonsense, that's the only thing that I could come to my brain right now, because I could not believe what I just saw.
There was it was like, did that actually just happen?
Yes. And the best video was Grant Hill and Bill Raftery.
Yes.
It's just it was unbelievable. And the silence on the broadcast was perfect because in a moment like that, you need to soak up the moment where you're just like, what did we just witness?
And then just so on brand for the Duke broadcast to cry that it was a technical, even though the guy was on the court when it happened.
My favorite part of that
you got
Duke
Dan Hurley headbutting the ref.
Dude, that picture is going to go down. Is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He's
and you watch it like it was such a awkward like the ref got up to him like there was nothing you could have really called a technical for because the ref walked up to him and Dan just kind of had his head down and he just walked into him. And it's not like what is Dan gonna do? Why would he be trying to headbutt the ref?
Well,
he just won. He's still trying to process what happened.
He's just like, why is this guy in my face?
Exactly. But let's we'll transition here. UConn-Illinois. We had to poke fun at Duke here, because it's just too easy. But what are some of the keys to the game that you're looking for in UConn-Illinois?
To me, two teams who like to shoot the three ball. Who can get hot and who can, if they are struggling, do they stick to it or do they try to go inside and get those easy points and easy buckets to get that confidence back? Because if you're shooting 3 of 18 in a football stadium, that basketball rim is going to look real small. And I think as a team, you might lose your confidence. And then at that point, you're just in trouble because you're at the national stage. There's 70,000 people in the stadium. How many millions of people watching at home? Does the moment become too tense? Especially for the Illinois team, because this is their first Final Four. Dan Hurley's won 2 championships. They've been there. They've done that. UConn isn't fazed by anything. Does the moment become too much for Illinois? And do they pucker up?
I also not discussed right now too is UConn wins a national title. They're a legitimate dynasty. 3 natties in 4 years. That's a dynasty. We've said it on this show. I think the big thing too, Grant, is boxing out. Out because these teams like to shoot the 3 so much. Long shots, long rebounds.
Funny rebounds.
Yes, and funny rebounds as well. The other thing that does worry me for Illinois is the physical nature that UConn likes to play defense with. Does that wear them out? Does that create tired legs for Illinois, especially as that game wears on? So there's 2 matchups these 2 teams have played. The last time Illinois and UConn played in the NCAA tournament, UConn had a 30-0 run against the Illini.
Was that the Elite
actually
Eight?
Also played this year. It was the Elite 8 game. Yep. That was looking back as like that 24 bracket. There were probably about four teams that, and they were all in the UConn or the UConn Purdue bracket, that if they were in the other 2 regions, they would have easily made the Final Four. I mean, you look at the Creighton, you look at that Illinois team, you look at Tennessee, where, I mean, Rick Barnes, I mean, it's gotten them to 3 straight Elite Eights. And if they weren't playing Purdue that year in the Elite Eight, they're probably going to the Final Four. I think they beat Alabama and definitely would have taken care of NC State. But anyways, back to this game. And then UConn beat 74-61 at Madison Square Garden earlier this year around, I believe, Thanksgiving. But also at the same time, as far as defensively, Illinois, this is the best defense that they've played all year. Where, I mean, they've limited both Iowa and Houston to shooting under 40% this year. Brad Underwood, his first Final Four. Dan going for 3 natties in a year. Is that going to play a factor? The other part is I worry about with Illinois is I'm curious to see how they guard Terrace Reed, because they don't really have somebody inside that matches up with him well. Are they going to try to, double him down low, or are they just going to try to man him up one-on-one and hope play their chances?
It's gonna be a fascinating game. But I do feel if one of these games this weekend, Dylan, gets out of control, it's this one. Like I said, just with UConn's experience, but also now that I'm thinking about this, how does UConn react to this emotional comeback? The 3 by Mullins, is it too much for him to handle? Because yes, we talk about UConn and the mental toughness and winning these 2 national championships, but it's not like these players were on that team. This is a whole new UConn team. So are they still too high? Where it comes out back to bite them in the ass.
Well, I will say that having Dan Hurley as your coach, where he is always about the next step. I've been watching I've seen clips of him coaching from like the Graham Bissinger interview, where he is always I think he's the epitome of the so what, now what coach, and he's going to get him ready. And I'm talking but saying nothing here, because I'm also just contradicting myself. But there's also coaches do that though, but are the players able to buy into that? Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see, and I think we're going to have a good answer that first 8 minutes of this game, of if it's something of the past or they're still hungover from the Duke game.
But it's a good Final Four this year, and I'm excited for the games on Saturday.
I am as well. So prediction time, Grant. UConn-Illinois, who wins?
I like UConn. I think the physicality on the defense, the experience on the coaching staff, they'll make the right adjustments in the second half when they need to be there. And they're not going to shoot 1 of 18 again from the 3. They're too good offensively that I think they're eventually going to, kind of like how Illinois wore Iowa down in the second half. UConn's going to do that to Illinois in this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. Same thing. I think the physicality. I think we talked about it with the Michigan Arizona matchup. Is UConn's a little bit deeper down low in the front court. I think they're able to wear them down. I got this one a little bit higher scoring than the first one. I got UConn winning 76-68.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go 74-62. UConn.
Okay. All right. Well, that is our Final Four preview here. What do you got for us for Curveball of the Week?
So, Dylan, I want to know what movie in your life, or what movies in your life, have you gone to see in theater twice, if you've ever done that?
It had to have been when I was younger, because now I shouldn't say that. Top Gun Maverick, because I went with you, and then I went with my parents. I'm trying to think. I feel like I went to The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises twice. And then I want to say I went to the second Transformers twice.
Dylan, it's interesting. We kind of match on a few of those we've seen twice.
That's the least surprising news ever between us.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, because I'm The Dark Knight Rises, Transformers 2, and Transformers 3. I know
I don't think I went to that one twice.
Yep, because it was Revenge of the Fallen, and then Dark of the Moon.
Yeah, it was Dark of the
Transformers
Moon.
name?
Yeah.
Dark of the Moon. Yeah, I saw that. I enjoyed the Transformers movies. I know a lot of people like to shit on them, but I thought they were good.
If you shit on the Transformers movies, there's some questions that need to be answered, and it's mainly because Megan Fox is in those movies.
Mm-hmm. And in the third one, when she wasn't in there, unfortunately, it wasn't the same.
It wasn't. All that he replaced her with was still really attractive.
Well, that's part of the gig.
It is.
You know, I mean, Shia LaBeouf, let's be honest, kind of looks like your average guy. But you can't.
Not anymore.
No,
back
not
then he did.
Yeah, back then, but not anymore. Nowadays, it's like this brother needs some help.
Needs a lot. If you've been arrested twice in 4 days, you might have some issues there.
Like, I understand New Orleans is you're there to have a good time, but come on.
That's where Hayes was there. He didn't get arrested twice in 4 days, I don't think. Or at least he didn't tell me that.
Yeah, you never know. Oh, also another movie I saw twice in theaters. Public Enemies.
Oh, I never watched it. I watched it like 2 or 3 years ago. I watched it on a trip back from Fargo. I watched it for I remember seeing the previews for it, because like that was like as good of a stretch of movies, like action movies, like Transformers, The Dark Knight. Like you look back, those like the late 2000s, early 10s were incredible time for action movies. That was another really good movie. But I never went and was able to go see it in theater for whatever reason. I remember what that was.
Well, Dylan, probably because it was rated R, and maybe your parents didn't want you to go.
Could have been. But that's also a really good movie. I'm trying to think. Oh, you know what? I'm not sure if I'm proud, but it's a bit of an underrated movie. Couples Retreat. I do remember going to see Couples Retreat twice.
Oh, that is a classic.
It is. It's got some good laughs.
Mm-hmm. Well, and sometimes that's all you need. You just hour and 40, hour and 45, and just some good laughs, some stupid silliness. That's what I'm here for.
That's why I started rewatching The Hangers. I got 1 and 2 done. I haven't had a chance to get 3, but I'm not sure if I want to rewatch it or. But even the third one, I didn't think was as bad as people said it was.
It's just that first one was so good.
It was.
You can't compete with that.
No, and the second was good too.
I think I'll have to go back and give the second one another chance, because to your point, it's probably not as bad as I thought it was.
It's just Alan's one-liners just get you. They just do.
Dylan, it's funny. All these movies we're talking about now, late 2000s, early 2010s. We need to go back to making movies like that.
We do.
Make
comedies great again.
Make comedies great again. And let's stop making superhero movies. And redoing all the Marvel things like that. And going back to actually having real entertainment and real violence in the movie theater.
Real laughs as well. Comedy.
Real laughs as well.
I don't know the last time I don't even know when the last time there was a good comedy.
Too long.
I mean, the last movie that I watched where I laughed that was new, where I laughed like a decent amount, was Gilmore 2. And I mean, people can dog on that all they want, and I'm not saying it's the greatest movie that's ever been made by any stretch, but I didn't have high expectations going into it. But the connections that they had to the first one, it gave you a good laugh. It served its purpose.
Well, absolutely, because we knew going into it couldn't be the first one, and nothing will be. But they tied it into the first one. You had multiple moments where you were laughing the whole time. John Daly was hilarious.
You want some Germex?
It just, the villains having the idea of with their spines so they could drive the ball 600 yards. Scheffler leaning into his arrest at the Open Championship. It was all around funny.
Sit your ass down. I'm watching golf. What's on the menu tonight? No, I'll stay for dinner. But before we wrap up the show here, too, surprise, Grant, I want to hear your comment on the current state in the Middle East. April Fools. I'm just kidding. It's not April Fools yet, but it's close enough. And I thought about doing it when Brian came on, but I was like, no, not yet. So I just wanted to get your reaction of me asking that question. But it is April Fool's Day tomorrow. So make sure you guys are on your toes, not trying to get got by anybody. So thank you to everybody who has tuned in, and we will be back next week to hopefully be discussing Michigan winning a national title. Which, Grant, since we've started this show here, if Michigan is able to pull this off, my team would have 2 national titles. Your Chiefs would have 2 Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Ethan has yet to win a national title in this show's existence here. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of pressure on him to see if one of his teams can finally get over that hump. But make sure you like, rate, subscribe, review. Make sure you're following us on all of our socials. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you again to Brian for joining us. And we will talk to you next